Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
You have been sold a lie.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters. The very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
Why we leaving Mouse's house? He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, close us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday.
The game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
Half of Americans' photos are now stored in facial recognition databases. You know I'm going to say that again. Half of Americans' photos are now stored in facial recognition databases. According to a new report by Georgetown Law Center on Privacy and Technology, half of Americans now have photos of themselves stored in facial recognition databases. The vast majority of these citizens are not suspects in crimes, nor do they have criminal records. The report indicated that over 117 million adults are stored in facial recognition databases, and any of their photos can be used at any time in a virtual lineup, where they can be picked out by law enforcement as potential suspects. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, many police departments use photos from Facebook, photos from protests, and even videos of average people walking down the street taken from cameras posted up around urban centers. It was even indicated in the report that driver license photos are used to populate these databases, meaning that almost anyone could be a potential suspect in one of these lineups. The report findings, along with revelations from the ACLU on police monitoring in Baltimore, suggests that the technology may be violating the rights of millions of Americans and is disproportionately affecting communities of color, advocate says. Alvarado de Boya, executive director of Georgetown Privacy and Technology Center, says that this new technology presents a massive privacy risk. Face recognition, when it is used most aggressively, can change the nature of public spaces. It can change the basic freedoms we have to go about our lives without people identifying us from afar and in secret, he says. The investigation poured through a year's worth of police reports to determine how widespread facial recognition software has become. Nima Singh Giuliani, ACLU legislator, to co-agencies have free reins to do whatever they offer absolutely no transparency. In the case of face recognition, there appears to be very few controls or safeguards to ensure it's not used in situations in which people are engaged in First Amendment activity, Giuliani said. One of the most disturbing aspects of the recent report is that the fact that these facial recognition databases have become overwhelmingly made up of non-criminal entries. This can get extremely dangerous because this technology is far from perfect, and in fact, mistakes are made all the time. Even the FBI admits that 1 out of every 7 searches of facial recognition databases are incorrect, meaning that innocent people are singled out on a regular basis. However, independent investigation revealed that the number was far higher, with close to 90% of those identified by facial recognition technology being innocent people. Considering the fact that this is fairly new technology, it is obvious that there will be plenty of bugs and imperfections. When dealing with personal computers or video game systems, this is acceptable. But when dealing with people's lives, the risk is far too great. Ex-New York Senator Giuliani would make a great Attorney General. I'm going to say that again. Ex-New York Senator Giuliani would make a great Attorney General. Former Senator Alphonse D'Amato, Republican New York, said Rudy Giuliani and Newt Gingrich would be great members of a potential cabinet for President-elect Donald Trump. I think one great appointment and someone who will follow the law and not bend the law as he or she sees fit is the Attorney General, Rudy Giuliani. D'Amato told John Castellamatis on his radio program he will be a great Attorney General. Newt could be an absolute stalwart in just about any position you name, whether it is Secretary of State, he added. And I don't have any inside information on these appointments, but I would tell you, certainly Rudy Giuliani would make a great Attorney General. Both Giuliani, the former mayor of New York City, and Gingrich, former speaker, have been floated as possible cabinet members for Trump. D'Amato, who served in the Senate from 1981 to 1999, said the media failed to properly cover the shenanigans of the Clinton team and distorted facts throughout the campaigns. Still, he admitted of Trump, I never thought he was serious, but let me tell you, he worked and never gave up. D'Amato said Trump had the guts to talk about the important issues voters cared about, including immigration, neglected inner cities, and drugs coming over the Mexican border. Trump made immigration one of the focal points of his campaign, promising to build a wall on the Mexican border when he gets into office. You don't just come across the border when others, millions, are waiting for an opportunity to come in, he said. D'Amato said he was in great spirits and expressed his optimism in Trump's ability to serve as commander-in-chief. It's a great day because I think Donald Trump is going to devote himself to making America a better place, D'Amato said. 2 presidential electors to colleagues dump Trump. You know I'm going to say that again. 2 presidential electors to colleagues dump Trump. 2 Democratic members of the Electoral College have launched a campaign to keep President-elect Donald Trump from entering the White House, according to a new report. Washington Brett Chiafolo and Colorado's Michael Baca hope at least 37 of their GOP colleagues will abandon Trump and force the House into picking the next president instead, Politico said Monday. Politico said the pair's so-called moral electors movement has already found one backer in Washington, Robert Santicum. This is a long shot, Chiafolo told Politico in a phone interview Monday. It's a Hail Mary. However, I do see situations where when we've already had 2 or 3 Republican electors state publicly they didn't want to vote for Trump. How many of them have real issues with Donald Trump in private? Politico said neither Baca nor Chiafolo is seeking the election of Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Both vowed they would encourage GOP electors to write in either Governor John Kasich, Republican Ohio, or 2012 Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney instead. The House would choose from among the top 3 vote getters should enough electors reject Trump's claim to the White House. Politico noted the 538 members of Electoral College are scheduled to gather in their various state capitals and formally vote for the president December 19. Baca and Chiafolo are seeking 37 other electors to halt Trump due to the Republicans' result in the Electoral College vote last week. Trump claimed 290 electoral votes to clinch 228 and currently leads in Michigan, which awarded another 16. Michigan would boost Trump's total to 306 electoral votes if all electors there go his way, well past 270 threshold required for the presidency. Political added could find other GOP electors on record considering break with Trump, his party nominee. Texas Art Cisneros, a libertarian activist, on Monday said he remains undecided, but state party leaders and fellow GOP electors are pressuring him to go with Trump. 29 states have law mandating their electors support the victors of their state's popular vote, though political acknowledge none has ever been challenged or enforced. Clinton's loss to Trump remains controversial as the former Secretary of State won the national popular vote by less than 1 point over him. So you said the question was,
the American.
Oh yeah, what I was saying, that the American, okay, when you look at all the hyphenated that people that use the title American, they always have a geographical location, and some of us have a color, right? Or you're right, we have a color. But when you say, do they say white Americans? You ever hear that term, white Americans?
No, not really.
European Americans? You don't hear that title, right? So when they talk about Americans, they're talking about white folks. So what you've seen in the Donald Trump election, or his selection, right, was the fact that white Americans went out to show that they had the population, right, that they had the numbers, regardless to a lot of people trying to say that black people and Hispanics can come together to win an election. No, you are a supportive measure to the totality of votes, right? But you can never be the majority. You can only be the persuasion aspect as to making, when two white candidates are battling, they're going to split the white votes, right? And then that leaves the so-called minority to, pick between the two. And so whoever is more persuasive amongst them will win according to the persuasion of those people. So a lot of people are under the assumption that the reason why Trump won is because black people didn't vote. But the truth of the matter is, no one knows who really voted. That's the whole illusion to me. Again, the whole illusion is the fact that everybody was under the assumption that Hillary was going to win. But if you pay close attention, you realize that she was not campaigning. You didn't see her, right? You didn't see her as much as you would see somebody who was running for the seat of president. But you've seen Donald Trump, and you've seen the supporters he had, which means he had the numbers. Right? He had the numbers. And so that so people were under the impression that they got caught up in the fact that, okay, they want to believe America is better than what it is, against that whole fictitious aspect of mentality of how they think America is versus what is obvious. And so a lot of people would rather be sweet. They want that shit to go across as like something to be like smooth. They don't want the obvious to be obvious. They want to be lulled to sleep and let a motherfucker still do what they do to you. So that's what Hillary Clinton is. Hillary Clinton is the aspect of people want to believe certain shit, when Donald Trump is the polar opposite, which is what is direct and true. And so people just was under the assumption that America is not what they believe it not to be, but it proved to you what it is. And so people who thought Hillary was going to win was all caught up in the emotions that, they was going to put in the first woman. And I told you that they was never going to put no woman in there. The white man don't like women like that. He don't like women like that. But see, that's that sentimental, emotional shit. This is how they pulled the game. So now that video that I put out, the video told you exactly what was going down. It depends on how you looked at it.
Yeah, it did.
Because it said that the dude that said, okay, because now you got to remember the video I did before that, right? I did a video before that one. And it said some things in it as to the dude and what he had controlled, right? He controlled all these different states. And if you look at the states that was in that report, those are the states that Donald Trump ended up winning that supposedly had been Hillary's. And then when you looked at what was said, remember he kept alluding to the fact that he said that Hillary was trying to steal the election, right? So everybody was looking for Hillary to steal it, not looking at him to steal it. You understand? You wasn't looking at the fact that the motherfuckers that he's working with set that shit all up. It was a chess move. It was such a grand chess move that I ain't heard no one talk about it yet. And when I put this out, I'm going to be the one that said, at least on our side of the game, I ain't heard nobody say it. Which is, they set her ass all the way up. They set her up. Now, how they set her up was like this. This is how they set her up. Now, the story goes on and told you about George Soros, right? It told you about who he was, and I told you this whole... again, he said he's a god and he creates things, right? Go back to that story, man. I be putting shit out, man, but I don't think a lot of people get what I be saying, right? I put it out there. So this dude got enough power that he owned. He was tied to a lot of the polling machines, right? He was tied to a lot of that, right? And he was funding Hillary Clinton. And in that story, it told you that he also gave directions to her when she was Secretary of State that she had to follow to the T. Now, what got Hillary in trouble is a lot of the shit when she was Secretary of State, right? When she was Secretary of State, a lot of that shit that happened under her watch, based on that story, told you who was giving her her directions because of the money they was funding her. So what they did is they stained her ass up. Then they gave her the illusion to believe that they were going to protect her when the media never once talked about any of the shit that happened to her, right? Think about, now watch what I'm going to show you, this trick. So the media, which is controlled by them, didn't talk about none of the shit about Hillary Clinton. Then what you got is a third party outside group like WikiLeaks, right? Who seemed to be an advocate about truth and about information, comes out and starts leaking information about all the shit that was being done when she was Secretary of State. And Hillary alluded to the fact when she talked about Russia. Now, the problem is people say, well, damn, what Russia got to do with being part of the motherfucking election? It wasn't Russia government. What it was is, again, if you listen to the story, it told you the motherfucker that's in there that said he is a god said that he got so much money and so much time, political power, influence in Russia that it's called the George Soros Empire. So now you got this WikiLeaks motherfucker who is third party outside. Just the other day, they gave him a pardon. All of a sudden now, after they were going to come get his ass, that now he done completed the job. Now he ain't nowhere. Now he's done because he did his work already. He did his work, which was to bring out the information at the right time. What they were calling about the October surprise, brought out all that information. And then black people who do not do research or who just taking on sentimental and the emotional part was Hillary, because we believe that Bill Clinton, the first black president bullshit that they was all on, they was sentimental with that. Because Donald Trump was in your face telling you exactly what he gonna do. He didn't pull no punches. And black people don't want to hear that. See, we still scared of truth. We want to keep believing that this country is one way when we don't want to look at it in the real way. And so what ended up happening is that night when I sat here and watched that shit, and I said, this motherfucker gonna win. I said he gonna win. And when he won, man, I haven't heard that much quietness. I haven't heard that much quietness since I've been here. This motherfucking city was on shock. Just like every other place was on shock.
Yeah.
Because they could not believe. But you know what? It was that nigga wake up moment. Huh? It was the nigga wake up moment just happened. And so that's what happened. That was a chess move. That shit had all the intricate plays, points, moves, setups, and had people caught up, and they proved that they can fuck with you in a way that you couldn't even see unless you studying it. And that's how they get down. So people don't even know how the system go. They sitting here, they mad because they're talking about popular vote. How many times have you heard me say it's about the Electoral College?
Yeah.
Now they got another move that they're about to do, and I'm about to read it to you, right? But you don't have to watch the video to hear that part. But this gonna be in it, right? And so they got a move they're going to try to pull. Now, the problem is this shit is culminating into what I said some time back when I said Civil War, when white people going to fight white people. Because you got white people who upset, who don't want to live with the mindset that black people looking at me like the rest of you motherfuckers. And you heard me say white people going to have to start fighting white people to prove their loyalty that you not one of them. And you seeing that shit. Now, that same Black Lives Matter, right? You got a lot of cases coming up now for this next year, right? You got that Dylan Roof, that one that's in Carolina where he shot up all them brothers and sisters in that church. You got the other one where the police killed up the brother in the traffic stop. You got the one in Chicago. Right? You got all these cases coming up. And if you've been paying attention, because of the way that the election has garnered all the attention, a lot of shit is under the radar unless you're reading. They're setting up these juries where they're all white. All these juries are white, so you know they finna pull the move. And so what that's gonna do is enrage, because you already got people who can't deal with the fact that Donald Trump is in the office. And so they already angry. And so now what they gonna do is they already stoking the flame to get that shit going, to get that racial war. It's here. You understand? People out here right now, they protesting, people getting killed, right? You know what I'm saying? He ain't even been inaugurated yet, and he haven't been selected yet. This is the other kick in the head that a lot of people understand. He don't get picked, the president don't get picked until the December 19th.
Yeah, that's what Obama was saying. He's like president-elect, right?
Elect, right. They saying by the process. But the true validation to your authorization is the Electoral College has to do its process, which doesn't happen till December 19th. So if they decide to go against it, and then if you go back in that story that I put out, I told you that it said about the Electoral College and about 29 states don't have to follow what the people voted for. Huh? Which means that the Electoral College people can go opposite. They're not going to pick Hillary. They talking about getting Mitt Romney. They talking about these they got some other people in the background who they want. So this shit ain't over. This shit is the culmination to some real shit jumping off, man. Just know that. Hey, how's y'all doing? This is your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, coming with another thought-provoking topic. Bringing my listeners the news, the report, the storyline, the inside scoop, the dirt, the slant, the spin, sleight of hand, the reverse psychology, the history, the hidden agenda, my perspective to you globally, internationally, continentally, and locally, especially in America. And you know what my motto is. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Well, what's your subject for the day, Mr. Blows Your Mind? Well, you know how I get down, y'all. You know how I'm going to do this. the election just happened. You know what my motto thing is. I don't come out right away when everything happens. I kind of let things simmer. And so during that simmeration, is a word I just created, a lot of facts came out. But prior to that, I did videos, which I see a lot of you didn't even go out and go look at. So I'm under the impression that many of you are just subscribing and kind of a part-time lover. I know we're occupied with all kinds of other things that goes on in our lives because we got other things going on in our lives other than the simple fact that we can't be sitting around and just be, idly just participating in things that may not have no relevance into our daily lives. And I understand that. But your support would be just you viewing the content. If you're a subscriber, I would be under the assumption that you watching for the simple fact, because if you are watching, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, it's not me trying to poke and prod people, trying to get them to watch my content, because again, it's only going to resonate with those who it's supposed to resonate with. But my thing is, if they're doing things that are not allowing me to see the views, and this is where the underline for me is, then if you let me know that you did, then I can compare to what is being shown to what, you understand, to who I believe is supporting me. And so this way, because I have this notion that I believe that a lot of the contents is not being counted and it's not really being shown. Now, some people may say that, this is basic, and so it may be. But if you understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to really show you here, then you would understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. See, the quirky stuff can get the views, but the stuff that seems to have some content, some real content, as into getting you to look from a different perspective, will not be seen. So let's get into this. The title of this video is going to be The Obvious American Choice. The illusion of Hillary Clinton. You know I'm going to say that again. The obvious American choice. The illusion of Hillary Clinton. Again, the election just happened on November 8th. And the United States was in shock. For those who were all gung-ho up into having their mindset as going to vision the very first female president of the United States after having a black man in the United States as a president, that they were all elated and emotional, trying to be a part of history. And based on the outcome, people were shocked because the nigga wake-up call happened. Why do you say that, Mr. Blow? Why do you say the nigga wake-up call happened? Well, what I'm saying is that many people were under the illusion that Hillary was going to win. It was just going to be, the obvious choice, because there's no way they would put in a overt person who speaks his mind and says the things that many of the higher population of that persuasion of people who are poor in the mindset that they have, and the anger and the resentment towards where this country is browning up. And so he spoke to the heart of them. And so the things that were being said, a lot of people were agitated because some people are still brand new right out of the pack, right? Some of y'all just brand new. You just getting out of the bag. So a lot of stuff you haven't really had a taste of. Well, in the last 5 years or more, you've gotten a lot of taste. But some of you, because of associations and people who you fraternize with, you kind of just say, well, man, that's just them. Those are just a few out of the barrel. But this election showed you, when you seen that night, and you seen that map, and you seen all that red across this country, it was showing you the demographic numbers as Van Jones, who said a white flash to show that they could do it, because they know that as time goes on, as we get in this video, I will talk why they said this is the time for them to do what they had to do. But the fact is that they came out in numbers, and after it was all said and done, and people were shocked over that night, and then you start to hear people come out and advocate and say, and blaming black people and things, and, you know, saying that because you did not participate, you did not vote, is the reason why Donald Trump got in. Well, let me speak to that. People are very disillusioned as into what they believe they know about this system. People think that you really, as a participation, as a so-called citizen in this country, really participate in putting in the power structure of this nation. It was founded without you. It's going to continue to run without you. And it's going to have the agenda that it has set for them until something drastically changes it. Now, I've said in many of my videos, those who are continued participants of viewing of my content, that I told you that the Electoral College, right, is the process that chooses the president. So if any of those who listen to me on the regulars that I do present information and you were shocked as I put that video out the day of, and a lot of you didn't go look at it because, again, I understand. But I showed you something to show you exactly what was going to happen. Again, did I not just tell you the reverse psychology? Did I not say that as at the beginning of what some of the things that I unravel, that I decipher, right? When I tell you about the news, the report, the storyline, the inside scoop, the dirt, slant, spin, the sleight of hand, the reverse psychology. It was obvious that everybody was looking at Hillary Clinton. It was obvious. But when you put the pieces together and look at it, they showed you they had the power to manipulate. Matter of fact, his story would call it a bloodless coup, right? Some people call it a bloodless coup. I've heard some people say that. And you wouldn't be far off the point from saying something like that. But what we have to understand here is that, as you heard in that clip, as I was talking to the young brother that I mentor at time, and I really don't like using that word mentor because that's really got another implication, but that is the English term that we use to, connect the minds to the understanding. So in that conversation you heard, as I was saying, that how this whole charade, thespian play, was led right out before your eyes. And so I led you prior to the election and gave you stories that told you exactly how it was going to be played, but it was in the reversal of who it was really for. Get it? Go back and look at the video where you see where it talked about a particular person who had ties to the machines, and look at the states that they were in. And then I showed you the day of in that last debate when they talked about rigging, and they made the whole rigging aspect to point to that one and not myself, because they say when you point one finger, three finger point back at yourself, right? So that game of chess was long drawn, played out, because again, in the video, it told you that I am a God, and he has the ability to make what is acceptable unacceptable, or unacceptable acceptable. Is that what just happened before your eyes? Was there those people he talked about, this group of elite extremists who plays government? Did he not? Was that not put in that story? But anyway, play me little if you want. You could do that. So anyway, so what I want to say is that, okay, I lost my train of thought because I had to do something. So trying to get back on track, which is the fact that I told you how this was going to be done. I gave you the stories. I explained. I broke down to a certain point, and I showed you. Then it fruition right before, because that video that I didn't even talk in, I just gave you the pieces. And I kept showing you where it kept saying where Donald Trump was going to win the popular vote but lose the electoral. But was it not in the reversal? Right? Go back and look at the video. It tells you everything. I'm not going to go back and do it again on this one. But for those who, you do what you do. If not, you know, you can lead a horse. They said you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. All right? So anyway, let's get on with this video here. Again, this is in correlation to what I had already put out there. So any of you who was devastated, I don't know why you would be devastated, because it was an obvious choice. But again, so anyway, as I start off in the video, you see the, you know, how the feeling and how people are looking at this election. But that's over with. That's done. There's no more to be even look at that aspect of it. Okay, that was the obvious choice. America has spoken. The white people of this land has spoken. Black people, again, people are pointing at the people of color and said if you would have gotten out and voted, if you're 12 to 13%, another one 14, combine that together, you got nothing but about what, maybe 27, 26%, right, of the population, right? Versus another people supposedly, according to the census, is 60 plus percent. So, you know, even if just half of those numbers come out, that's enough to beat you when you don't have all of yours and they don't have all of theirs. So they can always trump that. Trump that, right? So that's what ended up happening here, y'all. They just showed you that when they put their minds to it, they can make things fruition. This was the obvious choice. The thespian play to me seemed to be like they all were trying to separate themselves as to the ideology. Make it look appear like that. No, we're not with him. He's some lunatic, wild-eyed, crazy redneck got billions of dollars. But now what you're starting to see is them all coming together like Voltron to set the agenda that has always been part of the plan. And so recently they just set out Trump's cabinet members. There's a, you know, go look that up and you'll see. And you'll see some of the people that's associated with it. And then you know what kind of cabinet he's putting together. And so what kind of agenda that they're having. So half of American photos are now stored in facial recognition databases, right? 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 That's what I showed you, right? I showed you that that's what it is, right? Now, I was talking about Georgetown Law Center that was talking about privacy and technology today, and that a lot of people are not even familiar with the fact that a lot of their photos of themselves have been stored in a facial recognition database. And a lot of you who are participants on these social medias as to Facebook, you know, being participants in protesting, not that I'm against it, but I'm just letting you know, and just out in your areas, being in a high densely populated place, what they call urban centers, like malls and, you know, the downtown centers, and pretty much we know, and those of us who live in the hood, we got cameras we always had them cameras, them blue light cameras up there, the so-called police cameras, right? So a lot of our faces have been on that too, right? So they've been garnering up all this data, right? So that they can have this, you know, part of the system as to, you know, they're going to use when the time is ripe. Okay. So that the ACLU was saying that this is an infringement upon the liberties of the citizens. But, security is always going to be number one because, again, according to the budget, military and propaganda are the two biggest budgets in this country. And when you talk about military, you mean the defense. That means, again, they have to have the technology so that they can, have a step first or two for those that they consider their enemies. So technology, based on the way that everybody is using it, a lot of people are using it in a novice way, right? A noob way, right? They're just kind of just playing with it, right? And then in your playing in it, you're not understanding that you're participating in something that is going to be used at another time, which whatever you should be coming across it. Because again, if they're not garnering this information based on the fact that you had a criminal history, they just garner it because they can. And then you can be picked out of a lineup based on your facial recognition, right? They can use that as the criterion, but yet there's a lot of flaws in it. So that means there'll be a lot of people who might be falsely accused and convicted based on some flawless technology. This is not a red flag for us. Are we not to look at any of this? I know a lot of people say they're conscious and they're talking about a lot of things, right? That's what they say. But the one part of this story you should have caught on is the fact that when I said the word Giuliani, I wasn't talking about the senator part yet. We're talking about somebody who was tied in with this facial recognition who's a Giuliani person, right? So they're setting this all up. Look how they're coming at you, right? So it's overwhelmingly made up of non-criminal entries. A lot of the stuff that they garner, it's not, again, as I said, it's not about people who have been part of the system. We're just normal, everyday Jane and Joes who just going along, obeying, but yet you are part of the system. They're using your driver's license, state IDs, right? They might even be using school IDs. You understand what I'm saying? Have a long chronology history that goes back so that they can see the transformation of how you aging and all that. Because they even had technology. I remember at one time when they were showing that they can get two people, put them together, and what a child with two of them together would probably look like, right? So, they've been putting this stuff into the works for a long time. And so even to the fact that the FBI missed that 1 out of every 7 searches of his facial recognition databases are incorrect, right? That's like back in the days, I remember one time me and one of my partners, we was walking, police drove up on us and asked us, would we just get in the car with something we want? And we're looking like, saying like, so we go with them. So we in the back seat, 2 white women, middle-aged white women walk up to the car, look in the back seat, and he says, is that them? And she looked, if we didn't have this, if I didn't have a distinct look, right? We're talking about, brothers that just got a distinct look that you can identify them. If you know them, or you just kind of look common. If I'd have looked common, or my partner would have looked common, they would have been like, that's them, because we had a partner later on that we was out hooping. Now this brother had been hooping with us all day. DTs rolled up, came to the park, was like with these 2 white women, and said, that's him right there. And we looking like, what are they talking about? Took my man, he was just about ready to graduate out of high school, picked him out of all the brothers that was on that court, picked him out, took him, locked him up, messed his whole life up. He, messed his whole life up. Kind of find that wasn't even him. Well, that's the same thing with this facial recognition, right? This being able to say that they're going to use this as a way to, criminalize people based on your photo came up as the picture that we show, like on the news when they showing people who are doing crimes and they got a certain, angle of their facial, and they're going to put that in the data, and the data is going to come up like, ding, this is the one. And it could be you, right? This isn't alarming, especially to us and in the time that we in and what we see that's jumping off? Huh? Right? So it says innocent people are singled out on a regular basis. Innocent people. Way to garner them up. Huh? They said that the night that Donald Trump won, man, that the prison incarcerated, the CCA, the stocks in that went up. So they're anticipating a large en masse of incarcerations. You already given them the free data. You done gave everybody that you associated with on them Facebooks and stuff. You done gave them your family. You done gave them your location. You done gave them your history, all your friends, and then their photos. Man, y'all gave it away for free. For free. So again, when we talk about the Giuliani that was in the facial recognition, then they talking about Giuliani would make a great attorney general. Now those who from New York, or from the New York area, you knew that what kind of mayor, state's attorney he was, and so now you're going to make him the he's going to be the HNIH, right? He going to be the head nigga hunky in charge, right? You're going to put him in there, right? And according to as in conviction, he is the precedence or president at 4,150 convictions and only 25 overturns in his career as a state attorney. He don't lose. He's 98, you know what I'm saying? 98, 99% conviction rate, right? Stop and frisk is something that Donald Trump said off the get, that he don't have a problem with that, right? Because they get the 2-for-1s in that. Yes, you may not be guilty of a crime, but the possibility they catch you with something, just because a lot of us who live in areas that have to have something to keep with us to protect ourselves, to protect our loved ones and those who with us, you know what I'm saying? And catch you riding dirty. Huh? Catch you riding dirty, right? And then they got you one. They got us one, Joe. We got us one, right? You off your way. You're going to see the judge, right? So they're saying that he would make a great state attorney. Someone, they said, who would follow the law and not bend the law as he or she sees fit is the Attorney General, Rudy Giuliani. Huh? They had an old Western movie used to come on called Hang 'em High. You remember that? Y'all been around a little bit. Remember Hang 'em High? That had the Hang 'em judge. All you heard all day was that mother was hanging mugs. Huh? Every day he was hanging mugs. Well, this is what they setting up, y'all. They're talking about Newt Gingrich would be, absolute stalwart of just about any position. You can throw him anywhere. He's kind of like a queen on the chessboard. Throw him anywhere. He has the ability to be able to, do what he do. Right? Right? Did any of y'all even see these stories? Or y'all not paying attention to none of these stories? These are not something that would be of your interest, right? So it says Diamanto, who served in the Senate from 1981 to 1999, right? He said that the shenanigans of the Clintons team, and that it was evident through the whole campaign of a lot of the stuff that they were doing, right? So my whole thing is that, people do what they do. They get in these office and they have an ideal of how they want to set, because again, they're all connected. Again, go back in that video where I told you about the billionaires and this exclusive group. And again, when they sit down together, like they had them G20 summits and stuff like that, ain't none of us in them rooms when they talking like that, right? Even if you have a president like Obama, who there, kind of, he kind of not getting all the information about things, right? He be misinformed, right? But yet he the head, but yet he don't be knowing all the ins and outs. So here it is again, insiders, but we don't have people inside like that. So they're not telling us how things gonna go down. We just kind of it is what it is, right? So anyway, I ain't gonna make this too long, but the point I wanted to make, and I just wanted to bring that out about the Giuliani being attorney general, and then the prior to that was the facial recognition, and the person who is orchestrating that is a Giuliani, right? Right? So there's connections here. They even got Christine. They got a whole bunch of mugs, man. I mean, they got this. They got some mugs in here who going to do some damage. You understand what I'm saying? But they got a break the glass case of emergency. You see where I read the two presidential electors to the colleagues to dump Trump, right? Now, this is their last hope. Like they said in the story, this is a Hail Mary. We're trying to win the game. If we can get the Electoral College to vote. See, there you go. You thought you voted for you who voted back on November 8th. You thought that you were picking the president. The president still haven't even been picked. As I make this video today, the 17th, the president still has not been, of the process, been elected yet. He's been selected by the democratic process, right? But that which really picks him has not done it, not until December 19th. And guess what? They're working, someone's, as a few of the people that were spoken in this article that I brought out before you. Matter of fact, Brett Chiafolo, right, and Micah Baca, right? They are working, trying to get 37 of the GOP colleagues to abandon Trump and force the House into picking the next president instead. Now, what makes this a part of the story is because let's look at it like this. Let's say, right, that this does happen. Let's say that they get the numbers that they want. And then they say, we're going to get him out through this process. Will this be the fire that lights the wick? You know I like saying that. That set this shit off. Because look how the people, after they went through this process and did what they did and got rid of Hillary, then you come back with this process here and get him out on a technicality like this. This place will go up, y'all. This place will go up. Again, I'd rather be saying these things to be wrong. I don't want to say this to be right, right? Sometimes you'd rather be wrong about certain things, not just because the simple fact that you may be right about it, but you be wrong because you don't want the implication because we're not ready. Girl, you're not ready. If you can't, girl, you're not ready. Huh? That kind of stuff, right? Man, we not ready. Right? You know, reggae songs, right? Back in the day, right? So, we not ready. We are no way ready. But we have to be ready. That's why unification is a must. This is why we have to do everything in our power to start waking people up to understand that, you know, the formation is already here. Kind of like Beyonce, formation, right? Was she trying to say something? Formation, right? So, you know, if this should go down, man, this is going to bring a lot of stuff. And again, hypothetically, just speaking, I mean, the stories is there. Whether it's them using this as propaganda, I could be caught up in that. But if it's not, and this is what they're really doing, because pretty much when I go get my stories and stuff that I'm reading and I lay it out, you know, I'll be a Giuliani when it comes to convictions. So, again, this is Mr. Blow Your Mind bringing you this election aspect to what I've seen and some things that I see correlation that are connected that we should be having our attention focus on, and that, you know, do what you do, man. Subscribe, comment, like or dislike, but it is what it is, y'all. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.